Hi everyone, I'm Matt the Thunderworks Games and welcome to the DICECT review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Role Player, which is a 1 to 4 player dice drafting role-playing set collection game designed by Keith Matejika, apologies if I got your name wrong, and published by Thunderworks Games. So what do you do in Role Player? Well, if you've ever played any role-playing games, either digitally or in tabletop format, then you'll be familiar with things like skills, traits, weapons, armour, class, backstory and all that sort of good stuff for any good role-playing game. And in Role Player you're going to be doing exactly that. You're going to be creating your very own role-playing character. You're not going to do anything with that character, but you're going to be creating it by drafting dice, trying to hit certain alignments, trying to hit certain backstory requirements, and certain clash requirements. So let's head to the table and see how it's played. Okay, so welcome to Role Play. This is a typical setup for a solo game. What you can see here, this is how I like to play the game. This is what I'll be doing my DICECT review on. So this is what the setup is and the overview of the game that I'm going to give. So I am a hermit elf who's an aristocrat and also a warrior. But I could have also been a human, a dwarf, a halfling, a dragon kid, or an orc. Lots of different characters to play, lots of variety to add to the game. Even with the my class I selected, I could have been a warrior or a barbarian. I chose to be the warrior. But I could have been a paladin, a cleric, a thief, a rogue, a druid, a sorcerer, a monk, a wizard, a ranger, a bard. Lots of options for your class, which is great. And then my backstory, I'm an aristocrat. I'm the offspring of a royal family and value the true sovereign bloodline. But I could have been all sorts of other things. A mentor, a riftwalker, a craftsman. I could have been a street urchin, devoted, savage, brawler, the chosen one. All sorts of different backstories I can add. Again, more variety into the game. So this is, like I said, the setup for a solo game. I start off with some money. I've got my alignment. I'm a warrior. I'm an aristocrat. My backstory, my class. I've got space for my weapons, armour and my skills here. This is the market. We'll be drawing cards from the market from the deck to replenish the market. And in here are traits, armours, skills, all sorts of things that I can purchase. Weapons to increase my abilities, my bonuses and potentially my points. So what do you do on your turn as a solo? As part something else as part of setup, I've rolled these 6 dice and placed them here. But basically on your turn, in a solo game, you draw 3 dice from this big bag, which you can't see because it's black on black, but big bag of dice. I draw these 3 and then I arrange them in lowest to highest order on the 3 initiative cards. Then I can pick one of these dice, and depending on the dice I pick, the automated player will discard one of these cards, and then I can use this dice to add into my attributes. So I could potentially take the 4 and I could add this into here for an example. And what I'm trying to do is, for my strength here, I've got a strength of 18. If I manage to hit 18, I'll get 4 points. My dexterity, I'm trying to hit between 16 and 17 for 2 points. Constitution, 17 for 3 points, and so on. But I'm also trying to place various coloured dices in these various placements. So the purple dice in Constitution would have probably been better going there, for example. I'm trying to place a black die here, a white die here, red die here, and so on. And that's basically what's going to get you the points. So you're basically going to roll these dice. You're going to place one, and then depending on the row you place it on, you can do a particular ability. So the strength will let you flip a dice. So I could flip that to a 3. That's not a particularly good move because I'm reducing my value for my strength that I'm trying to achieve there, but you get the idea. If I placed it in here, this will let you swap dice. Constitution, you get a -2 for Constitution on the total value of your dice, but you can increase and decrease the value of your die by 1. So that's what we're going to keep doing, collecting these cards, run these dice, trying to hit these stats, trying to hit these alignments. Sometimes when you buy cards, you'll see here's a little arrow. So if I was obnoxious, my alignment would go down to more the evil side. And then you're trying to, again, balance this to be in the right place. I want to be in the middle as a hermit. That'll get me 3 points at the end of the game. So you keep on going like that until you've filled all of your placements, all 18 slots, and then you score. You will score for your attributes that you've hit on here. You will score for, I'm the red class, in this particular case I'd score for red dice as well. You'd score for your alignment card, you'd score for your backstory positioning, any armour cards would score, and any trait cards would score. You also have a special ability here, so after buying an armor card, I can take a Constitution attribute action, which means I can apply this. And that is basically how you play Role Player. So let's go back and dissect Role Player. Okay, so you've seen how Role Player plays. You've been given a bit of a brief overview there, so hopefully you've got some idea. So let's start off with D for duration. So a typical 2 to 4 player game, you'll be looking at 60 to 90 minutes. Now for me, that is a bit too long for what the type of game is. You know, it's a quick dice drafting game, or it should be a quick dice drafting game. You're drafting 16 dice, grabbing some cards, trying to get some armor, some weapons, some traits, whatever. But at the higher player counts, it does drag on a little bit. So that's why, for me, I like to play this solo. That's my preferred way of playing Role Player. Solo, 45 minutes, you're probably looking at maybe even less if you're really quick. It's pretty snappy, it's quite satisfying getting some combos done with getting the class character, the class attributes, and manipulating them dice. It's a puzzle, you're pretty much doing your own thing. Solo, 45 minutes, bang, done, great time for that. Setup's pretty quick as well, but at the higher play counts, it does drag on a little bit. So I for interaction. There are a few cards in the deck that offer a bit of interaction, but you're pretty much doing your own puzzle. You're grabbing your own dice, taking your own cards. Yes, you could draft a card away from somebody, but for the most part, it's your own puzzle, your own dice. You're concentrating on your board. You're trying to get them dice that you need to complete your class requirements. And again, solo for that is perfect. For 4-player game, no, there's no reason why I don't want to play this at 4 players. But as a solo game, it's great, brilliant for that. Minimum interaction, puzzle game, you're looking at your own board, trying to figure out the best way to get them points, and that's why solo's a great player count for this game. So complexity, how complex is this game? Well, to be fair, it's a fairly simple dice drafting game. You know, you'll be taking a card from one of the initiative cards on here. That will then slot into your player board. Depending on which position you put on your player board, you can do a bit of manipulation of your dice. It's relatively simple manipulation, but you do need to think about which dice you need, where they need to go, what levels you need to hit. So there is some strategy to it, there is some depth to it, but it's not a super deep game. It's just a nice sort of light puzzle dice manipulation, dice drafting game. So E for engagement. Is the game engaging? Well, if you're happy that a lot of the stuff in this is fairly abstracted out with trying to get certain levels of dice to try and hit certain thresholds, then that can be a very engaging puzzle. Sometimes you look at your board and think, how am I ever going to hit 18 for one of these? 360, that's going to be quite difficult, but with careful selection of your dice and careful manipulation of your dice, you can hit them thresholds. You can't do everything, you need to concentrate on a sort of a few stats, unless you're really good. I can't do everything, I'm not that good. So you concentrate on where the high points are, try and hit them, and then try and manipulate the rest of your dice to try and hit some of the other thresholds. And that part of the game is engaging. Looking at which cards you want and how they're going to score, that's also engaging as well. But it is relatively abstracted, so as long as you're happy with that, then yes, roleplay can be a pretty engaging game. So components, the components in Role Player they're pretty good. You know, you've got these play boards here. They're sort of dual layered, well not dual layered, but they got the cutout for your dice. Good cardstock, nice and solid. The cards for the character class and backstories, etc. They're fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing great with them. The dice, they are standard sort of DICECT dice, so again, nothing major. But all the components, perfectly serviceable, perfectly fine. They do the job for what the game needs to do, but they're not outstanding. So target audience, who is this game for? Well, it's a bit of a tricky one really for me, because as a multiplayer game, I don't think it's, for me, that's not where I enjoy playing this game. I enjoy playing this game as a solo gamer. So if you're into them abstract puzzles, and if you like the RPG theme, if you're into your Dungeons & Dragons or role-playing games, digitally or even on tabletop, then roleplay could be for you, assuming you can get over the abstract nature of the puzzle. Also, with the recent release of Roleplay Adventures, you can actually take the character that you build here and take it into Roleplay Adventures. Now, I haven't tried that, but it's something that I would be very interested in doing. I like the idea of building the character, and then I like the idea of taking that character somewhere else. Some of the expansions do add other mechanisms to the game that allow you to do things with your character, but Roleplay is a standalone game, which is what I'm reviewing here. Then who is it for? I'd say solo games would be good for that. If you like the RPG theme, Dungeons & Dragons, creating your character, then it would be good for that as well. So yeah, that's who I would say this game is for. So I also sometimes offer suggestions as to other games that you might like, or if you like other games you may like this one as well. And the obvious choice that this is compared to a lot is Sagrada. Sagrada is another dice drafting dice manipulation game where you're trying to put dice into certain sections of a board to hit certain patterns to build a beautiful stained glass window. So if RPGs and role-playing games and this theme is not really your bag, then maybe Sagrada could be something you could look at too. However, if you like Sagrada and you think, oh, I could do something with a bit more a fantasy theme, a role-playing game theme, then Roleplay could be something to look at as well. So there you have it. That is Roleplayer Dissected by myself, the Friendly Board Gamer. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something useful from my videos. If you do like my content, then please hit the subscribe button and also check out my social media content down below. And please drop a comment. I'd love to engage with you. I'd love to have a chat with you, my audience, about whether you like roleplay, whether you like roleplay Sagrada, which is your favourite. Have you played Roleplayer Adventures with a character that you've made in Roleplayer? Let me know your thoughts. We're really interested in that, especially the sort of the import of the character into Roleplay Adventurers. It's something that I'd like to do. I don't have a copy of Adventures yet, but hopefully I will do at some point. So yes, thank you very much. Hope to catch you on the next DICECT review, and see you soon. Bye bye.